What is up, degenerates? It is Wednesday, September 24th. I want to do a quasi midweek update. We've had some declarations, some new funds have come out. So let's get right to it. Let's start with rec shares. NVII down 0.81. Underlying is Nvidia down 0.82. So the underlying or the rec share NVII held up. They declared on Monday. They declare after the close. Let me show you. I put an asterisk there. They declare after the close, and then Tuesday's the X date. So you can't see the dividend then buy based on that dividend. And they paid Wednesday. But pretty solid. 23 cents. These are the last three dividends. They're weekly. 23 cents, 20 cents, 21 cents. So they paid a little more this week. TSII. Again, Microsoft needs to update these. I have to manually put these in. So give me a like for that. TSII. They paid 29 cents. Up from 24 cents. And before that, 8 cents. So they're on the rise. Annualized yield I do based on the average of those three dividends, which is 21 cents, 37.79% yield. MSII, a little bit higher. They went from 7 to 6 to 7, 20% yield based on the average three and the current price. I have to put these in manually, by the way. COII, which is the Coinbase. I've got the underlyings here. Coinbase was up 0.53, COII up 0.48. They captured 90% of that, so that's fantastic. They paid 11 cents, 12 cents, and then this week 11 cents. Let's go to YieldMax. Everyone loves YieldMax. I love YieldMax. Chippy, that's a chip fund. 42 cents 2 weeks ago, 41 cents this week. They pay Friday. They declare today. X dates tomorrow. GPTY, 36 cents, 36 cents. So they're pretty stable there. 38% yield. LFGY, big increase. They went from 37 to 46 to 51 cents. They're up to 64% yield based on those three. QDTY, which is an index on the NASDAQ, they were down. The NASDAQ was up 1.54%. So we don't like to see that, but it happens. They're pretty stable with dividends. 17%, 17 cents, 17 cents, 17 cents. And that is a 20% yield. So a safer fund, a lower yield, but a safer fund. If you want to diversify, you don't like the single stock ETFs, that's a decent one. RDTY, 25 cents, 29 cents, 29 cents, 32% yield. SDTY, which is the S&P, the SPX, let's see, 14 cents, 15 cents, 15 cents. Pretty stable. Actually, the exact same, 15.42, 15.42. So they didn't change anything. 17% yield. Salty, which is not an inverse of Ulti, but it's a short. They own different stuff than Ulti, but they're shorting the market. They're at 43.36. They're up 0.69 today. They've been down, lately. Multiple underlying, so we don't track that. But they paid better. They've paid 55, and this week 62 cents. That is a 69% yield. Not bad. Ulti, my favorite of the YieldMax weeklies. It's 564. It was down 0.53 today. And look at that. I guess 9 cents on my, if you watched my prediction video, not hard to pick. 9 cents, 9 cents, 9 cents. They paid 9 cents. 85% yield. And that's a basket. So that's, well diversified. I love Alti. YMAG I own. They're up 0.06% today. And these are closing prices, not after hours. They went up a little bit. They paid 14 cents, 13 cents, 15 cents this week. 47% yield. YMAX. 12.86 is the closing price. Disappointing. 13 cents, 12 cents. This week, 8 cents. That's a 46% yield. YMAX is my third biggest holding. It's been steady. I love it. Not selling it, but that's disappointing. Let's go to Defiance. MST 944 down 2.8. Actually down more than the underlying, which is MSTR strategy. Almost twice as much. But the dividend went up. 18 cents, 14 cents, now 16 cents. So it's in the middle. The average 16 cents. They paid the average. That's a 91% yield. That's not bad at all. They declared Tuesday. Ex-date was today. They pay tomorrow. AMDU. That is the AMD. Down 0.83. AMD was down 0.01, so that's a huge down from the underlying. They've only paid twice, but it's better. 14 cents, 18 cents. Same thing. They declare Tuesday, ex-date's today, payday's tomorrow. Hemi, which is the Hims and Hers, that was down huge today. Hemi was down 8.9%. Hims and Hers down 4.91%, almost twice as bad, but a better yield. 33. They've paid twice, 33 cents, 50 cents, and they pay tomorrow. And I have this column here. This is how much it takes to make $1,000 a month in that fund. If everything stays the same, which we know it doesn't, but you got the drill there. Who and this comes up because Microsoft doesn't recognize it. I put these in manually. They had a good day. They're up 1.14%. Robinhood was only up 0.48%. They captured more than twice of that. So, like that. They paid 24 cents, 21 cents. So, payments lower, 54% yield. And they declared Tuesday. Ex-date was today. Payday's Thursday. PLT, which is Palantir Defiance Fund, down 2.65%. Palantir was down 1.64%. So they did lose more than Palantir. And the dividend went down 17 cents to 15 cents. That is a almost 43% yield. SMCC, which is on SMCI. I hate when this comes up. Down 1.83. Super Microcomputer was down 1.68, so pretty close. It was down a little worse than the underlying, but pretty close, 1 for 1. But a better dividend. Look at that. They went from 20 cents to almost 34 cents. 65% yield. And then WTTE declared today. The rest of these Defiance ones declared today. They were down not as much. 0.09%. SPX was down. That's the S&P. Was down 0.28. They only captured 31% of that loss. And dividend went down 18, 20, and now 14 cents. That's a 27.44% yield. QQQY down 0.16. The NASDAQ was down 0.31. So They only got half of that loss. And yield's about the same, 18 cents, 19 cents, 19 cents. That's pretty solid. 38% yield. IWMY, it's my favorite Defiance fund. It's the only one I own. If it's in blue here, I own it. Down 0.56. The Russell was down 0.92, so only about half. And look at this dividend. 23 cents, 23 cents. This week, 36 cents. So big time. That's a 61% yield based on those three. X dates tomorrow, payday Friday. USoy, which is U.S. oil. They're up 0.37. U.S. oil is up 1.8. They only captured 20% of that gain. Average is 9 cents, and they've paid 10 cents, 9 cents, 9 cents. So pretty stable dividend, 63%. Goldie, which is based on Spider Gold, down 1.24. GLD was down 0.91, so they were down worse than the underlying. Dividends 13, 9, 12. That's a 34% yield. Yield boost, I'm not going to talk a lot about today because they declare tomorrow. X date is Friday and payday is Tuesday. TSYY was up 2.87, and then it's on a double leverage TSLL, which is up 7 point. That's huge. The yields are insane. COYY 155%, TSYY 133%, and XBTY is 104%. Those are degenerates. By definition, my definition, to be a dividend degenerate, you've got to have 100% yield, and they've got it. And AMYY, which is AMD, is 99%. Now, they've only paid once, so let's see what they declare tomorrow, and we'll update from there. But I love Granite shares. Best weekly there is, by far. So let's go down. We'll update that. Oh, and they have new funds. MTYY, which is a double leverage MicroStrategy, only down 0.91, and the underlying's down almost 3%. So that's solid. And then PLYY is only down 0.59. Double leverage is down 3%. So they're better there. They have no dividends yet. I believe. I don't think they'll declare tomorrow. We'll see. I haven't looked that up. I imagine the first one will be next week, but we'll see. These are weeklies, and I love these. WPay. These are the round hills. I confused WPay with XPay. XPay is a weekly. It's a target 20, I think. I don't track that, but I had it in here last week. But WPay, a lot of people are talking about. It is a weekly round hill, and they basically own all of the underlying round hills, and they rebalance them. If one's struggling, they add to one that's not struggling, and they, so we can take a deeper dive into that at another time, but they've made two payments, 54%, 51%. I'm sorry, 54 cents, 51 cents. That's a 51% yield. They declare Monday. Payday was today. YBTC, which is Bitcoin. Again, multiple underlyings. They do a couple of different Bitcoin funds. Better dividend, 38 cents, 39 cents, 41 cents. That's a 46% yield. Yeth, which is Ethereum based. They own a couple of different Ethereum funds. So there's no underlying on that. Down 1.66%. and they've paid 44 cents, 39 cents, 39 cents. That's 79% yield. That's not bad. If you want some Ethereum exposure without owning Ethereum, I like that. You can, Ethereum can go down. This will still pay. XDTE, they declared today, I believe. Yeah, today. X date's Thursday. Payday's Friday. Down 0.27. S&P was down 0.28, so 1-to-1 pretty much. Distribution went down 21 cents, 20 cents, 16 cents, 23% yield. QDTE, which is on the NASDAQ, down 0.24. NASDAQ was down 0.31. Again, these are closing prices, not after hours. So they did better than the NASDAQ. 20 cents, 20 cents, 20 cents. If you want a stable distribution, that's about as stable as you can get. Other than Ulti. We'll get to that. RDTE, and by the way, these XDTE, QDTE, and RDTE declared this morning, but then they sent another email, an addendum, that lowered the payments. So I don't know what happened with that. I think QDTE was the same, but XDTE and RDTE were both lower on the addendum than they declared first thing this morning. So it doesn't mean anything, but I've got the actual numbers in. Maggie, they declare tomorrow, I believe. Yep, X date's Friday, payday is Monday, and then the rest of the round hills are declare Friday, X date's Monday, payday's Tuesday. So that's the round hills. One thing I like to look at is just average of all the weeklies. All, Yield Max, Rex shares, Round Hill, Granite shares, Defiance, they were down 0.34%. The underlyings were down 0.28%, if they have an underlying. So that's not terrible. I mean, they did a little worse, but a lot of times you see them do better. So let's look at Yield Max Group D, declared today. Let's see. AIYY up 0.54. AI, which is the underlying, up 0.11. So they killed the underlying. Their declaration was $13.93. They paid $18, $11, and $13. Yield is 67%. AMZ, 64 cents, 49 cents. Today, 46 cents, 46% yield. Apple, which is the Apple, 41 cents, 34 cents, 35 cents. Average is 37, which is 34%. Dizzo, which is Disney, and I want to look at this a little bit closer. They're up 1.06. Disney was up 1.04, so they captured the entire upside on that. Dividends 27, 33, and 21 cents. Yield is 27%. I think the change there had to do with the Jimmy Kimmel stuff. I don't know what that means, but anyway. HIYY. This is a new fund for Yield Max. It's in Group D. They have no dividends yet. They did not declare today, so I imagine they will the next go round. But down big, 4.63. Hims and Hers was down 4.91. I don't know why. We can do this to compare the two. They captured 94% of the loss, so they did better than Hims and Hers. Again, no dividends. I imagine they've announced they will declare their first dividend October 22nd, which is a Wednesday. X date's Thursday, payday's Friday. But I want to look at that chart because let's go to Yield Max Group D. I track all these separately. Here's HIYY. Just launched. And hers was down today. I don't know why. Sometimes you get a little info here. CFO sold some shares and then some articles on it. I don't care. I'm a degenerate. So I'm looking for yield. And of course, I make sure the companies are doing strategies I like. I like covered calls. I like credit put spreads, which Granite Shares does, and they're the best at it. But yeah, so we'll keep an eye on that, see what they declare. Misty, we said they'd pay $1.04. They paid $1.01. 118, 108, 101. I think we've seen the last dollar from Misty for a while. But I own Misty. It's in blue here. I'm not selling it. Price is down, but down a little more than the underlying, 1.46 versus 1.36. But I'm not worried about it. I mean, strategy's down. And in fact, let's look at that, because another thing I do is I've got them grouped together by underlying. So I put an MSTR, and I have all the MSTR funds. Let's see what MSTR did. MSTR's been down. That's since buy. MSII Rex funds. You'll see it looks the same. MST is Defiance. Looks the same. MSTW is Roundhill. Looks the same. And of course Misty looks the same. High right in here. Mid-July. So it's based on the underlying. And then Winter, which is the inverse fund for strategy, you'll see that's up. It's almost an inverse. And Winter had a massive dividend today. We'll get to that in a second. So that's Misty. SimSy, I was disappointed in this one, in this declaration. They're only down 0.74. And SMCI was down 1.68. So they only caught 44% of the loss. So, excuse me, not bad there. But look at the dividend. They paid $1.85, $1.30, and now 91 cents. I thought they'd pay like $2. So the average is $1.36. Still, winner of the week, winner of the group, 109% yield. Based on those three, and ignore next yield. That was my predictions, and that has changed since the prices have changed. But you put 10 grand in, you get $1,000 a month, if nothing changed, and that is basically 10 months, 11 months to recoup your money. Winter. Let's talk about Winter. Winter was massive. It was up 0.91% today. Again, MSTR was down 1.36, so you'll see when MSTR is down, Winter goes up, and vice versa. But look at this yield. Look at these payments. 165, 219, 329 today was the declaration. The average is 238, 109%. I'm sorry, that was SMCI. Winter. 165, 219. I have the wrong. No, okay. SMCI 185, 130, 91 cents. Winter is catching up. 165, 219, 329. Massive. 90% yield based on those three. XYZY, which is Square, Block, I don't know. They keep changing the name of the company, but not the ticker. They were down 0.11. Block was down 0.01. They declared 27 cents, which is lower. I don't own this, so I really don't care. 63% yield. And then YQs. was up 0.48, and then the QQQ was down 0.35, so that's not bad. Dividends in the middle, 17, 23, and 21. That's a 20.95% yield. So we talked about Granite shares. They declare tomorrow. That's COYY, TSYY, NVYY. Let me go back to the. Oh, I'm on them. They're doing something right. They sell puts, so you're capped on the upside by the premium they get from the put. They buy a further out of the money put to protect on the downside. These funds are up, so they're making bank. COYY 155%. I mean, that's 7.5 months. You're getting your money back if nothing changes, which we know it does. But that's my favorite weekly is COYY. TSYY is my biggest holding because I was loading up on this before COYY came out, which is newer. But TSYY, it's a double leverage, Granite shares. Their underlying is TSLL, which is a double leverage Tesla fund. And let's look at that. I've got all the... Well, let's just do that. Oh, this was right there. Yield boost. Sorry, I can't spell. Weeks. So here's TSYY. I mean, Tesla's. Let's look at Tesla. Tesla's on a tear. Just trading range. It broke through resistance and it's up. TSYY, very similar. Again, they follow the underlying. And when they say these are high-risk funds, I mean, technically yes, but and the double leverage are riskier if it goes down. If the market goes down, but they follow the underlying. And I mean, if Tesla goes to shit, then this will go to shit. But Tesla's not going anywhere, and TSLL is the underlying. Again, just almost the same. And then we can look at COYY, which is the best weekly currently. It's newer, so you see it kind of finds a range down today, but it follows the double leverage CONL, which is actually another Granite share fund. They do options on their own fund. I love it. But let's look at that one. You'll see it looks this. I mean, it's COYY is newer, so you won't see the exact same. But once it's out, several months, you'll see the chart looks the same. So let's go to, we did Yomex Group D. Let's go to Bitwise because they declare tomorrow. They're monthly. They're not every 4 weeks. It's actually a monthly. Sometimes it's 4 weeks. Sometimes it's 5 weeks. As a whole, I own 3 of the 4. The new one is the one on GameStop. As a whole, they were down 0.62%. The underlyings were down 0.82%. So they did well there. But look at the freaking yields. ICOI, I bought more today. They declare tomorrow. The X date is Friday. Payday is Tuesday. Seems like the best ones are Thursday, Friday, Tuesday. That's Granite shares and that's Bitwise. So again, these are monthly. But IMST, that's the MicroStrategy, 87% yield. GameStop, 77% yield. That's the worst one. IMRA, which is a Mara fund, 90% yield. ICOI, this is what I'm buying. It wasn't up as much as Coinbase. That's a Coinbase fund. 0.18. Coinbase was up 0.53. So they only captured 34% of that. But you'll see on most days, it's like 75%. if it on a gain, and 50 to 75% on a loss. So it's, you know, in a kind of a range. But the average, $6.67 on a $38 fund. 561, 924, 516. If it pays $5 tomorrow, or declares $5 tomorrow, I'm ecstatic. 209, that's what I'm buying this week. That is the degenerate fund of the week. So, I want to talk about a couple things. We talked about the Hims and Hers funds that are coming out. And I want to give a couple shout outs. Number one, to Wolf, my first subscriber a couple weeks ago. Just a big shout out. Wolf comments on all my videos, and I appreciate it. Mike and Venus, early subscriber, and I actually talked to Mike today. He did a video from the Philippines, and we were able to interact a little bit on my lunch break, which was great. Of course, Retire on Dividends, Rod. I watch him every morning. Sometimes he's on in the afternoon, but it's almost always in the morning. I'm always there. If it's live, I try to be when he's on live. Sometimes I can't, but I always watch. And ETF Inspector. If you want to know some of these, he really focused. I mean, he does a lot, and he's deep dive stuff. But he covers Yield Max, Ulti, and LFGY like you wouldn't believe. He goes over every holding, all their IVs, their payments, you name it. So shout out to those guys. I appreciate you guys. Kind of inspired me to start this channel, and I just want everyone to have a great evening. Give me a like, subscribe if you don't, and give me a comment, because you don't on YouTube they don't tell you who liked it. They just say how many likes you have. So the comments really help with who's watching, and I love comments. So give me a comment, anything. Like to give a homework assignment. Give me what you think the Granite shares will declare tomorrow. COYY or TSYY. I know a lot of you hold these. What are they going to pay? They're averaging 54 cents on COYY, 21 cents on TSYY. Let me know. Otherwise, have a great night.